meteorologist Kevin Gregory. This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
We begin tonight with a heartbreaking incident on the west side. A toddler struck and killed in a hit-and-run crash. Thanks for joining us here at 11 o'clock. I'm Nicole Griffin. Right now, the search is on for the driver that hit that child. Investigators say the 21-month-old girl was struck around 6:30 tonight in the 1700 block of North Exeter Avenue. She was playing in the driveway, her parents standing nearby. They told officers a gray four-door sedan hit the girl and sped away.
No indications that the child was out in the street chasing a ball or anything like that. All I can say at this point, all we know is that the child was in a driveway.
After getting the 911 call, police were rushing to the scene when they were flagged down by the girl's parents in the 1100 block of North Tibbs. The child was lying nearby. They told officers they were trying to make it to the hospital to get help. She died a short time later. Again, police have only a vague description of the hit-and-run vehicle, a gray four-door sedan. They say a man was behind the wheel. If you have any information, call Crime Stoppers at 317-262-TIPS. People living on the southeast side say speeding drivers are putting them in danger and they want it to stop. They reached out to RTV6 asking for help. Reporter Graham Hunter is finding out what they're hoping the city will do to stop the problem.
We've been almost hit several times at the mailbox.
Fast cars and curves don't mix on neighborhood roads.
There was a car that went off into my yard, crossed over to the neighbor's yard, missed the fire hydrant, jumped the neighbor's driveway and went airborne, landed and hit the city culvert.
Eddie Hager says people living in development south of his neighborhood are a big part of the problem.
The people that live there use this street as a buy-through to go to the highway.
In the morning around school time and of the afternoon when people are picking up their kids.
Ed Newell tells me a lot of it is parents taking their kids to school.
They're just driving too fast back and forth. This is a residential neighborhood street and it's not a highway.
And Newell worries careless driving could lead to disaster.
When kids are out here playing, you know, they can run out from behind a car at any time, and you know, everybody knows what can happen with that.
I have to tell them all the time to make sure you stay to the side of the road or watch that car.
It's why Hager has been leading the charge for change. He started a petition among his neighbors for safety upgrades.
I would like to see them, at minimum, stripe the road. That would be on each edge and then stripe it in the middle.
Like on Hunter Street, just to the west, the city did lower the speed limit on South Pasadena and add warning signs about the S-turns, but the folks we talked to say it hasn't helped.
Putting maybe some speed bumps down here would help.
Like on Sheridan Avenue, just a few blocks to the west.
We've had our mailboxes taken out. We thank God we haven't had a resident hit, but that's what we're trying to prevent, to make the neighborhood safer, make people feel safer.
Working for you on the southeast side, Graham Hunter, RTV6.
Graham, thank you. RTV6 will be following up with the city during business hours this week to find out what can be done to cut back on speeding in that community. Let's get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast with meteorologist Kyle Mounts.
Yeah, Nicole, we saved the best for last here this weekend. We had all the rain yesterday. Today, though, sunshine making up for it, and temperatures back into the lower and middle 60s, a little above average for this time of year, as we made it to 63 degrees in Indianapolis, sitting at 51 right now in the Circle City, already into the 40s in many locations, 46 in Columbus and Muncie right now. That storm system we talked about that brought us the rain on Saturday, that is now into the northeast, moving away. And even as we look back to the west, things are very quiet. Just a little bit of snow there in the mountains around Denver. That means things are going to be nice and quiet as you're heading off to work and the kids to the bus stop, as a lot of those fall breaks have now come to an end. We'll have clear skies, could have a little bit of patchy fog out there first thing in the morning with temperatures in the lower 40s. Coming up, we're going to talk about the mild start to the week. We've got another round of some soaking rain on the way, though. That could have an impact on your Halloween plans and also when those temperatures will take a tumble.
Kyle, thank you. A serious crash on the east side sent 6 people to the hospital today. The aftermath was certainly enough to stop traffic. One of the 2 cars involved literally split in half. Witnesses say a maroon Buick pulled out in front of a red Chevy Impala near 28th and Sherman. The The car's T-bone and the Buick tore apart. A man was thrown from the Buick. A woman in the same car had to be cut out of it. They were last listed in critical and serious condition. The driver made it out of the Buick on his own. 3 patients in the Impala were listed in good condition. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. A driver in search of a parking space wound up getting parked in a pool. This was the scene earlier tonight in the 8200 block of Northbrook Court. The driver was in a parking lot of the church next door. The parking lot sits adjacent to the residence with a pool. And here's what investigators think happened. The driver likely hit the gas, traveled up a grassy strip of land, drove over a tree stump, through the fence and into the pool. Investigators say the car traveled 12 to 15 feet from the lot to the pool. Both people in the car got out on their own and they are doing okay. Drivers in Claremont can expect delays starting tomorrow. That's when work begins on rebuilding 2 crumbling roads. Tanzel Road will be closed from US 136 north to the railroad tracks, and drivers should detour to Raceway Road. The second project will take place on 30th Street from Tanzel to Bridgeport Road and will affect people driving to Roby Elementary School. Work on 30th Street will stop from 8 to 8:30 a.m. and 2:45 to 3:30 p.m. for school buses to drop off and pick up students at Roby. Crews will work on both projects throughout the week, beginning each day at dawn and ending around dusk. The town says the work should be finished by the end of the week, weather permitting.
You have the same number of goals, they're just different goals, and you learn to handle it with other fathers, other guys.
A group of dads providing support for one another, and it comes at a time when fathers need it the most. Down Syndrome Indiana is a place for families to go for resources and support to help their children who have been diagnosed with Down syndrome. But within that organization, there is a group focused on helping the fathers. And tonight we are finding out why that help is so important. Steven Simpson's son is 18 years old. He remembers knowing very little about Down syndrome when he was born and searching for answers.
We learned ahead of time that my son would have Down syndrome, and I went on the internet, figured I'd try to fix Down syndrome. Well, you find out you can't fix Down syndrome because the people with Down syndrome are perfect just the way they are.
On Sunday, a group Simpson is a part of called Dads gathered for their Hayride Down Syndrome of Indiana event in Noblesville.
So Dad started with a bunch of guys that used to go to the Down syndrome Indiana Buddy Walk, and we were the guys that were in charge of moving tables around and picking up trash, and we said we want to be a little bit more than that. What we want to do is be an organization that helps fathers handle being dads of children with special needs.
And now, years later, they are helping fathers like Joshua Kamer navigate this new chapter of his life with his son Henry.
They helped us get everything set up for Henry, so the different programs are available, what First Steps was, everything from diagnosis we've had. Someone's had experience with it.
It was through Josh's connection with dads that we found out all about what all of our resources were.
Joshua says not only does he have a support system through the group, but it's also developed into real friendships.
Well, the camaraderie is amazing. It doesn't matter where you live. There's someone nearby that you can call. If you want to just go out for a round of golf, you can just send out an email, and like-minded dads, all your friends will, get together and have the opportunity to play and hang out.
It's a great idea to talk to other fathers to see what they're experiencing and to gain support from those other guys.
His biggest advice for new fathers: focus on the potential your child has and not the things they can't do.
Learn what the limitations are and learn what the possibilities are, and don't dwell on the limitations, but seek out the possibilities.
The Dads Group meets the second Tuesday of every month at 6:30 p.m. at 708 East Michigan Street. A major development in the war on terror. The leader of ISIS killed by U.S. forces. Tonight we're getting new details on how it all unfolded. You might not be calling him Bachelor Ben for much longer. Coming up later, the popular former contestant on ABC's Bachelor has some relationship news, plus why he's in town to encourage your love of coffee. Kyle.
And we are going to have a dry start to the work and school week, but that wet weather is going to overspread central Indiana here as the week goes along. I'll let you know the chances that this will stick around for the trick-or-treaters. You're watching RTV6 News at 11.
America. Appointments available now.
This is RTV6 News at 11, working for you.
President Trump with a major announcement. The world's most wanted terrorist, the leader of ISIS, is dead. Tonight, we're learning new details about the daring military operation. ABC's Trevor Alt has all the details.
Sunday morning, America woke up to breaking news in the war on terror. President Trump announcing Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, the world's most wanted terrorist, was dead.
He was the founder and leader of ISIS, the most ruthless and violent terror organization anywhere in the world.
The elite Delta force carrying out the daring raid Saturday night. 8 Chinook helicopters taking off on the secret mission from a Kurdish-controlled area in Iraq, flying low and taking on gunfire before landing in northern Syria. Once on the ground, the special operations team blowing holes in the side of Baghdadi's hideout, fearing the front door was booby-trapped. Baghdadi fleeing into an underground tunnel with 3 children, then detonating a suicide vest.
He died after running into a dead-end tunnel, whimpering and crying and screaming all the way.
The call coming into the Situation Room at 7:15, 100% confirmation jackpot over. The raid marking an end to years of terror with Baghdadi at the helm of ISIS. He rose to international prominence in 2014, inspiring barbaric acts of terror, including setting people on fire and beheadings shown on social media. Among his thousands of victims, Americans James Foley, Stephen Sotloff, Peter Kassig, and Kayla Mueller. The mission was named in Kayla's honor, bringing an end to Baghdadi's ruthless reign.
He will never again harm another innocent man, woman, or child. The world is now a much safer place.
Trevor Alt, ABC News, New York.
Trevor, thank you. A political trailblazer has passed away. Former Congressman John Conyers was the longest-serving black member of Congress and founder of the Black Caucus. Detroit police say Conyers died at his home today of what appears to be natural causes. He was 90 years old. Conyers' liberal stance on civil rights and civil liberties made him a political institution. He also fought for 15 years to get the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday designated as a national holiday. Hiring Hoosiers is an RTV6 effort to connect you with jobs and resources to help you get the career you want. Tonight, we are learning more about Indiana's workforce. It's information that could help give you insight into what employers are looking for. The Indiana Chamber just released a new survey showing what Indiana companies are dealing with and what it means for you. The survey found that 49% of the companies that responded left jobs unfilled this past year due to underqualified applicants. The survey shows as a result, those companies are accepting the talent shortage isn't going to change anytime soon and are finding alternative methods to deal with it. That includes assigning more responsibilities to the people already employed at the company. So what does that mean for you?
I think that employers increasingly are looking for more highly skilled talent than ever before, and they're increasingly struggling to find that talent. But as a result of that, employers are being more proactive in how they're going about sourcing their talent. They're looking to hire based on skills, maybe more so than on education credential, which we would say is a positive development.
So more companies are willing to hire someone with less education than desired and allow them to work while completing the on-the-job training. Looking ahead now to your Storm Team 6 forecast, we are wrapping up, Kyle, a very nice Sunday. It was a great day to get outside.
Yeah, fantastic weather out there today, much unlike Saturday, where things were pretty much just a washout, but the sunshine was back, temperatures in the 60s, and we're going to keep that going here as we go into the work and school week. But a week from this weekend, we're going to be talking about those clocks and falling back, getting that extra hour of sleep that we lost in the spring. Probably doesn't exactly work like that, but we'll take the extra hour nonetheless. That coming up next Saturday into Sunday. Right now, we've got temperatures in the lower 50s here for this final weekend of October. That light south wind is in place. We're not going to have the gusty winds like we had last night that might have woken you up from time to time. Temperatures lower 50s, Indy and Martinsville, Lafayette as well at 50 degrees. The rest of us, though, already falling back into the 40s. And by tomorrow morning, I think 43 degrees in the city. Could have a few locations that drop back into the upper upper 30s with some patchy fog around. Otherwise, those skies are going to be mostly clear and a nice start to our Monday here. By 8:30 in the morning, see still a lot of clear sky there across central Indiana, but here come the clouds starting to increase from the west. Not going to see any rain associated with it, but certainly the more you travel to the west across the central parts of the state, that's where we're going to see a little more in the way of that cloud cover, kind of filtering out the sunshine. We'll gradually increase the clouds here as we go throughout our Monday. Temperatures, though, they're going to continue to warm a little bit more than what we had today. We'll get highs into the middle and upper 60s, right around 67 in Greenwood, close to the 70-degree mark in Columbus, and 65 in Kokomo. Not a bad day for us, and on Tuesday we'll have more clouds around, but temperatures still in the 60s, so it looks like that will be a quiet weather day for us. Things do change, though, as we go into Wednesday. That's when the next widespread chance for some rain is going to move in. This is 6 o'clock on Wednesday morning. Look at all this rain that stretches back across portions of Illinois and Missouri. That slides our way. Looks like we're going to get another soaking here. Could see over an inch of rainfall. This goes through much of the day on Wednesday. Then as we get into Thursday, another wave of rain is going to be settling in. So after a very dry September and much of October, it looks like we're kind of making up for things here. We just picked up 2 inches of rain yesterday. And as we go into Thursday evening by 7 o'clock, see the lighter greens. We'll hopefully kind of dry things out here a little bit in time for the kids to head out to do a little trick-or-treating. But you also, eyes probably go to this. We've got an area of blue there developing into northern portions of Illinois, representing some snow, and it's not out of the question as we go late Thursday and into Friday morning. A few snowflakes could fly through our sky, but really not going to be a big impact for us, even if that happens. As we look at the Thursday forecast, temperatures will make their way into the lower 50s there. That rain will be around. It will be a little bit breezy, but again, at this point, looks like things will improve a little bit, at least as far as the rain coverage as we go into our Thursday evening. 7-day planning forecast now as we put it all together. There are the increasing clouds next couple of days, but highs in the 60s, middle 50s for us on Wednesday as rain kind of overspreads the area. 52 on Thursday, and then the cooler air really settles in. Highs are only in the 40s on Friday and Saturday, lows around 30, so that means some spots are going to start off in the 20s.
Families need to be thinking ahead to that Halloween forecast. Layers,
trying to maybe incorporate the umbrella a little bit, and certainly, some of those layers, because I think it's going to at least be breezy.
Okay. Thank you, Kyle. The Indianapolis Colts certainly know how to keep fans on their toes. Up next, the last-minute play that made all the difference between victory and defeat.
That's the benefit of Medicare from Anthem.
The Colts with a home game today against the Denver Broncos, and it came down to another last-minute kick and left Colts fans holding their breath. But it's another close win for Indy. Dave First and Brad Brown spent the day at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Well, needless to say, 5-2 for the Colts sounds a heck of a lot better than a 4-3 record, which they were looking at for about, 59 minutes in this game. And then in the end, Adam Vinatieri, who'd already missed a couple of field goals and a PAT as well, somehow gets a 51-yarder to go, and here they are, the Colts. That win streak continues.
This thing is such a head-scratcher because this day was so frustrating in so many ways. If you're a Colts fan, watching the offense struggle in the fourth quarter, certainly got some help from Denver on that last drive, but then you watch Vinatieri miss a kick, then he hits a long one, then he misses a PAT that put him in that situation anyway. Down the stretch, steps up the clutch, total clutch to hit that 51-yarder at the end.
And how about Frank Reich, who in the end got very conservative with the play calling and realized it's going to come down to a 50-yarder for Vinny to do it, and exactly Mr. Clutch does it again for the Colts.
I'm assuming this never gets old.
No, being in this locker room and being around all these guys and winning football games in the National Football League, it's awesome, and to be able to go out there and do your little part to help, it's amazing. But I tell you what, this locker room, it amazes me. Obviously, all three phases, we could have played a cleaner game. We could have played a better game, but the fight and the determination and the will to win, I don't care who you're playing. It's hard to win games in the National Football League, and for us to go out there that last drive and go down and come back from being down and and win a game. That's hard to do.
You talked about the offense and how anemic they look through most of this game. Defensively, though, I mean, here we go once again. It's the proverbial bend but don't break. I mean, and you give a team like Denver 13 points, that's not all that bad.
And they had to make 3 stops, really, in that fourth quarter.
Right.
Denver had that 13-12 lead, had to stop, get it back, gave it up on a 3-and-out, stop again. Even after the field goal, still had to make the plays late to close that out and seal this thing up. But really, some crucial plays all around from that unit, even after they had some bad penalties over the course of the afternoon. But really were able, like you said, bend, don't break, get it done.
Flacco felt it. We know that. He was literally limping off the field. A neck injury, it looks like, for the quarterback. The Colts defense stepping up.
Yeah, I mean, it came down to the end, you know, and then, you know, when they get close like that, the team just get close. You know, sometimes some teams, you know, it start to go away, and this team just get closer and closer, get tighter as the games goes. And we knew that if the defense got to stop, the offense was gonna go out there and put it in Vinny's hands. And, you know, we got the greatest at all time right there, so we believed in them.
Yes, there's a lot of mistakes out there, but at the end of the day, you got a dub. So.
No, it don't get old to me, because since a rookie, you've been hearing it's hard to win NFL. I mean, when you come in, you hear, you're like, I don't know. But when you get older and you play for a certain amount of time and you battling teams that have these records that's bad and you're in a ball game with them, that shows you.
Talk about that 5-2 record. These next 5 games, they're all winnable. Starting at Pittsburgh next week, couple games here at home, including the Dolphins coming here. They play the Texans again. So all of a sudden now you've got them in this conversation of heading into December with maybe 9 or 10 wins if they can keep this momentum going.
It's shaping up the way 2018 ended with a lot of gimmies towards the end of that. Here we go once again, perhaps a roll heading into the postseason for the Colts. But again, 5-2 sounds a lot better than 4.
Oh, by a mile.
For Brad Brown, Dave First, RTV6 Sports.
All right, guys, thank you. Well, ahead of the Colts game versus the Broncos today, fans of The Bachelor got a chance to meet Ben Higgins from the popular show that airs right here on RTV6. Higgins was in Touchdown Town outside of Lucas Oil Stadium. He did a meet and greet with fans before the game. Bad news for the ladies, though. Higgins says he is now off the market and does have a girlfriend. We talked to him about what it's like to be back home in Indiana.
Grew up in Warsaw, Indiana. Being back in Indianapolis is one of my favorite things. This is my favorite time of year. Coming back here to the football game, celebrating my family. My family's all here today. My girlfriend's coming up from Nashville. So yes, in short, I am so happy to be back. I love Indiana.
Higgins also took time today to talk about his full-time job working for a company called Generous International. It's a company that sells coffee. Profits are donated to nonprofits doing sustainable change work for places in need. He says he wants to encourage those who love coffee to drink coffee that helps out a good cause. We'll be right back here with a final check of your forecast.
Any night of the week.
The Postal Service wants to help you spread cheer on your letters and cards this holiday season. It unveiled 4 new holiday Wreath Forever stamps that you can use to send your mail. The wreaths were designed by former White House chief floral designer Laura Dowling. It's not the first time the Postal Service has used wreath designs on holiday stamps. It has done so 9 times in the past 57 years. The stamps are only available in books of 20. You can get them on the Postal Service's web store or at your local post office. Tonight's weather was perfect for trunk or treat events across the city. Indianapolis firefighters took time to pass out candy at Roberts Park UMC. The fire department tweeted out there was a huge turnout, saying they were more than happy to pass out candy. Firefighters were also out at the East 91st Street Christian Church. The firefighters say it was a great way to spend a Sunday. And in the town of Speedway, they also held their trunk or treat event hosted by the Speedway Chamber of Commerce. The event was held at Speedway High School. The Speedway Fire Department was also out at this event, passing out candy to all the kids dressed up in their favorite costumes. I feel like kids are getting a lot of chances to get candy nowadays.
Well, and if I were the parents too, make sure that they wear that costume.
Oh, yeah.
That either you spend a lot of time on or money or both.
Definitely.
Out there. Well, also some smart groups, because the forecast for actual Halloween and trick-or-treating not looking as great here. We're going to have some rain moving in Wednesday and Thursday. And it's going to turn breezy and cooler by the end of the week, and next weekend our highs are only in the 40s.
All right, Kyle, thank you so much, and thank you for joining us. Have a great night.